Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're going to be playing the new Banished seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which after we pick our starting hand, our entire deck will get banished. Now we had this event somewhat recently, during which time we played a very strong Nilfgaard deck. I think that is still the meta deck for this event, so I'll leave the link for that deck down in the description. But today we're going to try a clever monsters deck, and see how that does. So let's give it a look. So today we'll be playing a Monsters Overwhelming Hunger deck that combines Death Wish with Consumption to put up a lot of points quickly. And because in this event, we're not going to have any cards in our deck, that means we can't draw cards in between rounds, so rounds are generally going to be shorter, so that means we want to focus less on cards that take a long time to power up, and more on cards that give us big point slams. For example, cards like Yghern, that give us a ton of points really quickly, with the classic combo of Ozzrel to consume it from our graveyard, because our graveyard will not get banished, so we can still use that. Then add in Detlaff and Ruehin, who just got a provision buff, as other targets for our consumption, plus cards that can do the consumption with Haunt, Wererat, and Kayran, along with our leader ability, to give ourselves many ways to consume those units. Not to mention Kayran also has immunity, so it is definitely possible to use Kayran to consume all of our other units, so that the only unit that we have has immunity, and then our opponent can't target any of our cards. So that's the general idea of the deck, but now I'll flip through to show you what else we have. And Weavess also works really well with all their Death Wish cards, though of course the more Death Wish cards we play, the stronger she is, so we'd like to play her in a longer round if we can. Then Frightener Dormant is really interesting because we have a lot of consumption, so it should be pretty easy to destroy 3 of our own units. And once we do, it gives us another high power, immune unit, so this combined with Kayran means that at times it will be difficult, if not impossible, for our opponent to target our biggest units. And She-Troll is another card that benefits from all that consumption, and is another case of card that we'd prefer to play in a longer round if possible, to maximize the amount of time that she has to benefit from our consumption. Then Golyat is another big point slam, good for short rounds, especially because there isn't a downside even if we do trigger that Death Wish, since our opponent doesn't have a deck from which to summon a card. Then Predatory Dive is good if our opponent is going first and plays one of their big point slam cards, we can immediately destroy it. Then we'll start to get a lot of our Death Wish units, like the Rotfiend, and other consumers like the Slyzard, and Barghest. Aen Elle Conqueror is basically just a little point slam, and we do have Devotion, so don't worry, it won't destroy itself. Then more Death Wish with Bridge Troll, and the Desert Banshee is another consumer, along with the Kikimore Warrior. Then we'll round things out with the Nightwraith, giving us more options to consume and trigger Haunt. So there's a look at the deck, and it has a nice combination of point slams, and some cards that are decent in short rounds but get even stronger in long rounds. And our special trick is that we have some cards with immunity to frustrate our opponent. I'm looking forward to playing this deck, so let's go see it in action. Alright, so going in Skellige here, and they'll go first. Alright, so we have Yghern, which is great in round 1. We have Haunt, along with several Death Wish units. Predatory Dive can work particularly well when our opponent is going first, and I think let's dump Kikimore Warrior. And Ozzrel works really well with Yghern, and we may not need the Slyzard, since we already have the Barghest and Haunt. So let's see, they'll start with the Brokvar Hunter, and they'll boost it with their tactic. So I think all the more reason for us to use Predatory Dive here. No pass. So that means all we need is a throwaway card here. And obviously, Yghern is big, but I think we do play him, so that way we know we have a good setup for Ozzrel in a future round. So that means we'll definitely take the round 1 win here. We did, of course, play one more card than our opponent, though, so I think we're probably dry passing here in round 2. Then we'll use an On-Crate Greatsword. It's a decent card, even if they're just trying to throw something away here. Now they go Covenant of Steel in the melee row. That makes me think Dagger, or potentially Sucrose plus Chad. Either way, why don't we start with the Frightener? Then they'll go with their location. get a Quartermaster. And now let's go Haunt. Then they'll use their Bear Witcher, which is too early to damage our units, but they'll use their leader ability to do that, and then they'll heal that Bear Witcher. Now let's go with the Nightwraith. That'll, of course, give us a Barghest from Haunt. We'll use to consume that Nightwraith. And here is Yghern, as expected. And so, almost anything that we play here will get destroyed by him. The one exception being if we use Ozzrel to consume Yghern. So we could do that, but I think we go with the Rotfiend here. Because it will get destroyed, but it will deal damage in the process. And again, gives us another Death Wish unit, which will get destroyed and trigger the Death Wish. So in some ways, they're just helping us out. Now they'll use Giga Scorpion Decoction to get rid of one of our consumers. Fortunately, we do still have more of those in our hand, and our leader ability as well. So now let's use the Bridge Troll. We'll also get damage, but it'll take out Yghern. And let's consume it. Then we'll go with Bearification. Get some points out of their location. Now let's play our other Bridge Troll. And they'll lock that. Which is, of course, a little unfortunate. That would have been the target for our Barghest consumption. But let's still use this now. And let's deliberately consume just a little rat. In case they have something like a Yghern or a Morkvarg. Alright, it's Junid. They'll use to destroy a damaged unit. But, if we play Ozzrel now, and consume Yghern, that'll give us the lead. And therefore, they will forfeit, and we'll take the win. Alright, so going against monsters here, and we'll go first. Okay, so I like Yghern, and I like the Kayran. I say let's get rid of the Kikimore Warrior, and let's swap out the Conqueror. Alright, so let's go with Yghern here, and see if they can keep pace. And of course, we're hoping that they don't have something like Predatory Dive of their own. Otherwise, that's going to hurt a lot. Alright, it's the Beast. So what I'm thinking here is why don't we use our tactic, consume Yghern with the Kayran, and then this will be the last card that we play. They'll just pass. So they will give us the round 1 win here. And of course, we did play one more card than them in round 1, so I think we dry pass here, because when we don't have any cards in our deck to draw in between rounds, we're not getting those cards back. So they'll use an Alp. That's, of course, all they need to win round 2. Then they'll go with the Cave Troll. And, of course, they're Blood Scent. So if they're trying to hide something behind a Cave Troll, my guess is it's an Unseen Elder. So we could Predatory Dive now and remove the Cave Troll. However, then we wouldn't have any way to get rid of the Unseen Elder. But assuming they do play Unseen Elder on their next turn, that would be their lowest card, and we could destroy it even with that Defender out there. So I think we save Predatory Dive for a little bit here, just in case. And because we'll destroy whatever unit we have out there when we do that, let's either play the Nightwraith, so we get some weak rats to destroy, or go with Ruehin, so that we can get him back. Let's go with the Nightwraith, I suppose. Alright, it's a Fletter, though. Alright, you tricked me this time. But we do have some weak units out there, so we are safe to use Predatory Dive basically whenever we want at this point. So let's take this moment to use Weavess. Alright, they will damage her. And so she will go down fairly soon. But if we use the bridge troll, then it will either boost the Nightwraith or Weavess. We'd obviously prefer Weavess. Oh, actually it did to itself, of course. Alright, here's the Unseen Elder. This is what we were waiting for. So now let's Predatory Dive. Alright, then it'll give some bleeding to our troll. Now let's get Ruehin out here. And let's consume that. And then they'll use another Feast of Blood. Okay, and as much as I want to immediately consume Ruehin, if we do that, our Barghest will be at 9 power, and that will not be the highest unit out there. This Flutter will, so we won't be able to use its order ability to consume again on our next turn. However, if we consume the Bridge Troll, it will be the highest unit out there, so we will be able to use another round of consumption. So I think long-term, that is still preferable. Let's go that route then. And I suppose we could use our other round of our leader ability as well to consume Ruehin. Alright, now they'll use Orianna. So she'll be their big engine, although I'd like to play her as early as possible to give her more time to get boosted. So now let's go with our other Barghest to consume Ruehin. Alright, then we'll use the Naglfar Taskmaster, which will Purify. But that doesn't matter much, so we'll play our Rotfiend. Consume that. And deal some damage in the process. Then we'll consume Ruehin. And with that, we will take the win. Alright, so go against Scoia'tael here. And we'll go first. Alright, so we have some big cards like Haunt and the Weavess. But I think let's get rid of the Kikimore Warrior. Ruehin is potentially great if we have the way to consume it. And Wererat might be the best way to do that. Okay, so I think what we want to do is we want to play really quick in round 1 and try to save some of our big cards like Haunt and Weavess for round 2 or round 3, because these take a little bit longer to work, and we don't want our opponent to immediately pass round 1 and have us waste those cards. So I think let's go with Yghern here. And then maybe even use Tactical Advantage on it, and this might be the only card that we play. They use a Dryad Ranger. We'll give it poison, along with dealing a little bit of damage, but I think that poison is the real issue. That being said, we could consume Yghern and get rid of that poison in the process. And I think that's probably worth doing here. So let's go with either Barghest or the Kayran. In fact, I like the Kayran a lot here. Get some immunity in case they're planning on doing more poison. So yeah, it looks like they were trying to do that, but now they can't. So I think this is where we pass and force them to try to play enough cards to get up to 24. Because of course, remember, nobody's drawing cards in between rounds. So if they need to go cards down to catch up to us, then that's going to hurt them in the long term. But they're going to try. Oh, they're going Siri Nova. So they'll get some resilience, but that's not enough for them to catch us yet. Now they go with the Sorceress of Fauna, which is also not enough. So it's one thing to go a card down and play the Resilience, because of course that card will stick for round 2. Those other cards will not, and so it's much more significant to sacrifice those. Use the order ability for Waylay, except they don't have a target that they can hit, so again, the immunity paying off here. Now they go with Eskel, and this is not the card they wanted to play here. Using him as a point slam, as the last card of the round, they would have loved to have saved him. So they go 3 cards down here. And of course, no drawing in between rounds. I imagine they'll dry pass and try to just use this resilience that they had. No, they're going to keep on playing. And I'm assuming that trap deals some kind of damage. In which case, what if we deliberately play Ruehin, and if it gets destroyed, great, it'll come back out. Okay, in this case, it'll get poisoned. And now, another Force Whisperer. So they will destroy it with the poison. And it looks like at this rate, after they played this many cards, they're trying to win in round 2. Let's go with Haunt. And there's a non-zero chance that they pass here. Now they're going to keep on going. They're going to lock Ruehin. And then use their leader ability. Yes, so they are absolutely all in this round. So I say let's use Weavess. Right, now they're using another Sorceress of Double Fauna. And now let's do the Bridge Troll. And consume it. Now they're going to deal some damage. But it's not enough to destroy anything. And Tempering will give them a boost. And that is the last of their cards. So that means we need 18 points here. And as long as we can save at least one card for round 3, then we win. So let's go with the Nightwraith here to finish our scenario. And well, that is already enough, so our opponent will just forfeit, and we'll take the win. Alright, so going in Skellige here, and we'll go first. Okay, and we have Yghern, as well as the Frightener and Weavess. We also have Ozzrel, so that works really well with playing Yghern in round 1. Let's make sure we have a few more Death Wish units, though. So let's get rid of the Kikimore Warrior. Golyat is certainly another big unit and a potential target for Ozzrel as well. But let's get rid of the Aen Elle Conqueror. Kayran gives us even more consumption. Okay, we're very consumption heavy. But this might still work. So let's start with Yghern. And we're really hoping they don't play Morkvarg and immediately destroy him. Though I suppose even if they do that, we can still consume him with Ozzrel. It's Covenant of Steel. So that's their defender. Suggests they have some pretty big plans here for round 1. And the fact that they put it in the range row makes me think that might be Arnis. So I think, let's use our tactic. Let's use Kayran. And then let's call it around. It's Crow Mother. Which of course is definitely not enough to catch us here. So I think we pass now. And force them to go at least one card down. Hopefully 2. So they'll use the Strybog Runestone. And that'll give them a Demon Light Longshift. That's not enough for them to take the lead yet, though. So they'll use their leader ability, and that is enough. So they'll go one card down and use their leader ability, and take the round 1 win. They're going to keep on playing here, though. Going Sigdrifa's right. That'll bring out the Crow Mother, but they forfeit. So they realize that they overcommitted in round 1 because they fell for our trap. So there's a look at a monster's Death Wish and Consume deck for the new Banished seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.